Xi Jinping's frustration at this point must know no bounds. He is doing everything practical and impractical to have his revenge on Australia. But somehow, the Australians always get out stronger, be it China's steel industry or its love for wine and beer. Xi Jinping is ready to give it all up to settle scores with Scott Morrison, but it always backfires. And this time, Australia has done it again. Without saying a word about it, Australia has snatched the Darwin Port from China. And a meltdown is sure to come soon. Hi, and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Shubhangi, and in this video, I will tell you about a brilliant development in Australia. It's great news for Australians, but not so great for the Communist Party of China. Let's begin. The good times for China are coming to a crashing end in Australia. Prime Minister Scott Morrison is dealing one blow after another to Chinese interests in Australia. Earlier this month, the Scott Morrison government had officially initiated a review of the Northern Territory's 99-year lease of the port of Darwin to the Chinese-owned company Landbridge. The Chinese company, which is known to have close ties to the CCP, had back then said that it would willingly participate and cooperate with the review as required. Now, however, Landbridge has radically changed its position. In fact, Landbridge is now going ballistic against Australia for daring to interfere in the 99-year lease which the Chinese company has over the strategic Darwin Port. But there is something very palpable that is causing the Chinese multinational group to hurt so inconsolably. According to Landbridge Infrastructure Holdings CEO Vincent Lai, recent political comments made by Australian government officials have hurt its dealings with business partners. Landbridge has admitted that the heightened scrutiny of the 99-year Darwin Port lease has tarnished its international standing and reputation and was also leading to the company's global partners and investors growing more skeptical of doing business with it. Essentially, the Scott Morrison government has brought a Chinese multinational company with links to the CCP on the verge of absolute collapse. Its partners are unwilling to do business with it, and the company is finding it increasingly difficult to find investors for its operations. So China is not just set to lose the Darwin port, it is also set to lose the company that it was going to use to grab this port in Australia. The Landbridge executive also remarked, "We have many trade partners, and now when we hold discussions with them, we field repeated questions on the status and stability of our operations. So yes, it affects our business." Simultaneously, a statement by Shandong Landbridge Group said that the group will consider legal advice or other appropriate ways to protect its legal rights and interests. Almost parallelly, in an opinion piece for the Australian Financial Review, Landbridge Group Australia Managing Director Mike Hughes cried about how he had never seen such mistreatment of an international company that had ticked all of the required regulatory boxes. The article by him read, "Having spent most of my career working for multinationals investing in different parts of the world, most of it for an American company in Southeast Asia, I have not seen a company as badly treated as Landbridge Group in Australia." The unprecedented meltdown on the part of Landbridge Group speaks volumes about how Australia has grabbed them by the very throat and is about to choke them out. The comments by topmost executives of the Chinese company also seem like a precursor to an inevitable cancellation of the 99-year lease of the Darwin Port, which the CCP entity had procured in 2015. Meanwhile, the imminent cancellation of the Darwin Port lease and the incredible effect that the same is having on Landbridge Group's business interests is a glowing testament to the rising public anger in Australia against China. The Australian people are increasingly viewing China as a national security threat, and they do not want a strategically located port to be falling in Chinese hands. According to a survey by the Pew Research Center, the share of Australian respondents with negative views of China grew by 24 percentage points in 2020 compared with the year before, with 81% saying they now saw China unfavorably. The Australian government's endeavour to kick out all Chinese influence from the Down Under country has a lot to do with the public anger against the CCP among Australians. Last month, the Scott Morrison government had terminated Victoria's controversial Belt and Road agreement with China. Morrison government said that Victoria's Belt and Road deal fell afoul of Australia's national interest. The termination of the deal had given a $107 billion jolt to China, which was outraged by the unceremonious kick it received from the Australian government. So you see, Chinese interests in Australia are suffering badly. The Scott Morrison government knows what will hurt the CCP most and is thus kicking it on precisely those counts. The best part is, putting Landbridge Group out of business after booting it out of China is the only very beginning. Soon, it is going to be very unaffordable for China to come to Australia and try to grab crucial territories.